Hi everybody, it's Tina Placager. I'm glad that you could join me today. It's March 21st. I have well, first of all, this is Treading on Serpents. This is where I will be reading out of this book that I wrote a couple of years ago for targeted individuals and those people who are bullied, gang-stalked, and or harassed. It's a daily devotional, and today's reading is very short. I want to talk a little bit today about TI phone friends. There was a time in the past that I had mentioned to you that, if you don't talk to somebody on the phone, you're not going to know if the person is a perp or a real friend. I mean, if it's just an email TI connection, that's all you do is email back and forth, and you don't talk on the phone, that could lead to a lot of pain. And I only had said that because it did cause me pain. So I thought, well, okay, now I'm going to try to reach out or take invitations from people that I felt safe with that wanted to be my friends. So, I would talk to them on the phone and that kind of a thing. I'm here to rebuttal that. I don't think that that's true, because there was a person that came in my life right before Christmas, and we hit it off pretty good. We were talking. I like East Coast people. I just do. I've gone out with them. I have married them. I like East Coast folks, and we got along pretty good, for what now that would have been, I don't know, October, let's say, November, December, January, February, March. We're talking 4 or 5 months, three to 5 months. So we're talking the other day on the phone, and I don't know how it came up. It's something that she brought up to me, and then of course it triggered a thought of a very colorful character that was in the gym with me years ago. I have a past. I have a past, and it's a very colorful past, and it involves a lot of people of all different colors, creeds, religions, sexual preferences, all of that. And this was the gym, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, when women were just getting into bodybuilding, the hardcore bodybuilding. There were a slew of physique contests that they called women's bodybuilding, where they wore high heels. Well, I was in the generation that was coming along that we went on stage barefoot, and we learned from the guys. And that was the world that I was in. So there were all kinds of colorful characters that were in my life. And I brought up Bernie. Bernie was a very colorful person. She was absolutely fine with who she was. And we didn't talk about her. We didn't have to. I mean, she carried her comb in her back pocket. She had a chain that went from one belt loop and swung around to her billfold in her other back pocket. But we loved Bernie, and this came up in conversation because she was a factory worker. That's what we were doing. We were talking about factory workers back in the day when they didn't really have any kind of workman's comp and stuff. Well, I thought of Bernie. So I'm on the phone with this person, and I think of Bernie, and I start talking about her, okay? And I got a big smile on my face. And I'm talking, and I'm talking, and I'm telling her about, Bernie always had like a nice truck, and she always had a lot of money and stuff, when she'd come into the gym or the health food store that I worked at. And there was no response on the other end, Well, I didn't realize it, we got disconnected. And so this has happened to me before on the phone when I would be talking with my mom, and we would start laughing, and then click. The phone would disconnect. and I would try to get my mom back, and she'd try to get me back, and then I would have the fax sound, which my mom doesn't even have a fax connected to her phone. You know, I would get that sound, or she wouldn't be able to get to me. It would go right to the voicemail, and you know, and I had a friend a guy friend in Texas that happened to as well. So when this happened, I figured, you know, the perps were cutting me off again, because I was, this was a moment for me, you know, and anyways, so I was calling her back, and it kept going right to her voicemail. Well, that's a normal thing. And then I got a couple of calls from her, and whenever I would pick it up, it disconnected. So I figured that was, you know, the perps were busy, you know, trying to keep any kind of joy away. So I'm disturbed by this, because, you know, hours have gone by, and, you know, no, nothing. And then the nighttime came, and there were no emails, and I fasted. So I just came out of like a 3-day fast right now. It was pretty strict too. I mean, the first day I just had a cup of liquid broth and water, and then the second day I had a small salad at noon, and felt really bad about it, but it didn't ruin anything. Okay, and then last night I broke the fast. Not like after a bodybuilding contest, you know, where I would go have pancakes and whipped cream. I mean, I just broke the fast and had, you know, a protein drink and some other things. She hung up on me. She didn't like that conversation, and it clicked back to another time when I was discussing something with her, and we got disconnected. And so she hung up on me. And I tripped. You see, I tripped through this whole thing because of the past experiences with perpetrators cutting me off when I was having fun. And I think that, you know, I don't know what this person looks like. I know nothing about this person at all. We have spent, you know, that, 3 weeks, a month getting into those long conversations, you know, like when you have a TI friend on the phone. Okay, now you're going to be TI friends. You're getting along pretty good and everything. But, you know, that first month is all about those 3 to 5 hour long conversations where every other word is, you know, a swear word. And, you know, you're sharing these stories back and forth about what they've done. When you could finally get out of that stage and you could start talking about other things, laughing, telling jokes. And that was another thing. She couldn't handle the Jim Dick jokes that I had. Are really very, very good. They're very funny. And, you know, it was just like, I don't know, there was something about her that seemed to bring out that old Tina, you know. I tried to keep the conversation light about other things as well, talking about comics and just other things. And bottom line is, when you don't know what the person looks like, and then again, they could just email you a phony picture. I mean, you could be talking to a 350-pound neighbor of yours that is coming across as, you know, a Brad Pitt. You know, this is what I look like, and you know, you don't really know. It's very deceptive. This whole world that the TIs have flocked to is very deceptive, and I do believe that it is part of the whole game, the whole psyop. Okay, you know, when you're talking to somebody, even on the phone, okay, and you know that you're talking to a woman, or you know that you're talking to a man. You know, fine. But you don't know about the elephant in the living room, you know, and you don't know that for a long time after, until you start feeling comfortable with that person, and, you know, things are brought up that, you know, there's very little room to go around the elephant in the room. And then things come up, and, you know, for me, I'm not somebody who just stops talking to another person. Okay, like if you've been a TI phone friend of mine, I'm not somebody that if I don't want to discuss things with you anymore, or I don't like you, or I don't trust you, or something like that, I'm going to bring it up to you. And if the friendship is over, I'm going to say, sadly, this friendship is over. Best wishes to you. But I find that TIs are not like that. Okay, there was one lady that spent all my time. She was quite big on the internet too, she didn't make videos, but she was, commented a lot. And, she dropped me one day like a hot potato, and it really hurt me. It really bothered me. She spent a lot of my energy and time on emails and things that she wanted me to look on, all this stuff. And then just drop me instead of saying, you made me uncomfortable when you did this. So either we could work it out, or there could be a humane disconnection, that would enable me to emotionally detach in a healthy manner, instead of just being dropped and ignored, and then the emails aren't answered and all of this. And I don't like those games. So if you're in my life, you're going to get somebody that's going to be a straight shooter from the hip. Okay? Nicely. I'm not a mean person. So, anyways, that's what happened. And, I think my message today to you, because I believe that this is what the Lord likes, He loves workers. He doesn't want people just to sit around and sit around. He likes workers, and I feel like I had to, get out of the pajamas. I've been in them for about 4 days. Yesterday I cleaned the house and changed the sheets and did all the stuff that I needed to do for myself. Took a shower this morning. Because after the last video, when I told you we were going to start to work out, the next morning I got up, I walked into the kitchen, I bent down a little bit, to get a cup of cat food for the feral cats, okay, and my back went out. Now I don't know if, and I'm going to be looking into this, if high EFs, EMFs, RFs, destroy muscle tissue, but I've had a lot of injuries come up on me that are not warranted. They shouldn't happen. Throwing pebbles over the fence and then having a muscle under my other shoulder blade pull to where I can't even take a deep breath for about 5 days. Bad injuries. So anyways, I've been laid up, and I thought that would be a really good time for me to fast, and I did. So now, when I decided to start talking to TIs on the phone, which I have now stopped doing, I am done. Done. The Italians do that. I won't tell you what it means. I don't need to tell you what it means. I think you know. I was talking to one guy that cried and cried about, having many sexual relationships with women while he was married. But see, now these people are targeted individuals for whatever reason, and they're into the Bible and they're into the Lord, and they have sought the Lord while He could still be found, which is a message in its own. Seek the Lord while He can be found, because there will come a day when He will not be, you won't. Oh, well, I did this for you, Lord, and I did that for you, and He will say, get away from me, I don't know you. Because you see, what the Lord wants is for us to have a personal relationship with Him. I got a message from a lady that was in jail on a 6-month beef, and they like to do that, They tried to do that to me. They did. They had me. They were arresting me all the time when I was in California. They were arresting me because I lived on the street in my vehicle with a trailer behind it and my 2 junkyard dogs. Okay, and they wanted to get me in the system, so that's a whole other thing there that TIs deal with, and I believe that stuff because I've seen it and I've lived it. They want to get you in the system. That stuff is still on my record, even though I was never charged for anything, which does not allow me to get a carry permit. So Anyway, she had told me that this last stint that she had to go and do on some BS thing, she found Jesus. Now, I knew that she already found Jesus. She had my book. But she didn't have a relationship with him. And during that 6 months, she has a relationship now with Jesus, and it all comes to fruition for her. It all falls into place. So, we've got to stay open-minded, and know that the Lord is working in us and through us. Okay? There is a meaning to this madness. So my message today for people who once had a life that wasn't, favorable in the eyes of the Lord, okay, you haven't lost your salvation. That's the message. Now, I heard this from the old, and I don't mean, well, he was very old when he passed away, Arnold Murray from the Shepherd's Chapel. I mean, him and his son, they sit there, nothing fancy, and they just read, from cover to cover, verse to verse, in the Bible. That's it, and they talk about it. And you can lose your salvation if you just, okay, you're raised, you go to some church, you get saved, okay, they baptize you, and then you go off and forget all about it. Okay, that's a whole different thing there. Okay, but if you've been saved, okay, and you repent. See, repenting is really the main thing here. You repent and you're serious and you say that you're really sorry to the Lord, He will forgive you, and now you have to bring out your faith, okay? You got your toolbox of all your goodies, and treading on serpents is in your toolbox, okay? And, you've got to reach in there and use your faith, because, you cannot please the Father without faith. Faith without works is dead. So you have your faith that He heard my prayer, I've repented, I no longer engage in these activities. You are saved. When Jesus comes, you're okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Forget about it. Okay? That's my message to you. Because I know that there are people that have done things that, and they worry. They worry and they get themselves in all this turmoil that they're afraid that they're not going to be chosen, taken out of here. They're going to burn in hell. And that's not true. And that's my message to you today. That's what I'm supposed to do, and bring that to you. Okay? Oh boy, did we go around the block with that, didn't we? Wow. Phew. So... there's lots of things I'd like to talk about, but I want to keep these short. And today, March 21st, it's a very short reading. Jesus Christ says, I open with his quote, "You are either with me or against me." That's just the way it is. You're either with me or you're against me. Jesus, too, was a targeted individual of gang stalkers and hate groups. Today's thought is, I realize that it is not beneficial to hate them because they hate me, or to become evil because they are. So, anyways, with that, I thank you for joining me today. God bless you, and I will see you soon.